So man, originally, where were you born and raised, man? You grew up out here in California?
Yeah, man, I was actually born in East LA, and I was raised in San Gabriel Valley my whole life. So yeah, I'm a LA
818.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 818, then it
Now
turned into 626, and then now I'm 213. So yeah, I'm a LA for life. You know what I'm saying?
East LA. So grew up over there. What were you doing over there, man? I got you into artwork.
You know what? I've been drawing since I was a little kid. I've been always drawing and doing that kind of thing in class, in school, with my friends. And when the whole hip hop thing started, I actually didn't even get into graffiti. My first, the thing I attacked first was b-boying. And I thought I was going to be a b-boy, and then that didn't work out too hot. I got to a certain level where nah, can't bust those moves. So then I had to move on, and I actually tried DJing next. And it was when I was in high school. All of a sudden, one of my boys started, mobbing it up on a bus, and he lent me the marker, and that was it. I was like, oh man. So I started getting up on the buses. Immediately started, what's this graph stuff? Like I'd seen it all around, but I never really thought I could do it.
Right.
And then
where did you see it?
I saw it all over East LA. I saw it, on the freeways. I saw it, on the buses every day going to school. So I mean, it was in my face all the time. I just didn't realize in my head that was an art form.
Right.
To me, I was oblivious to it.
Right.
Until I started doing it, then I was like, oh man, And I put two and two together, and I was like, I could draw on a wall. It was like so simple, but it took me like 16 years to figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
What was the hip hop that you were listening to as a DJ? You know what I mean?
Well, actually, it's funny because my name, people ask me how I got Man One, and the way I got it was the first time I started mobbing. I didn't know what to write, and my friend goes, just write something, it's not your name. And I was actually listening to Mantronics on my headphones, and so I started writing Mantronics, and it stuck. So I was like doing Mantronics, but then when I started doing it on the streets, that name was just too long, by the time I get to the X, I'll be arrested, So I just cut it down to Man. So that's where Man One comes from Mantronics.
Okay.
Giving it an LA West Coast flavor is always important. Like for me, the colors is really important,
right,
and the style. So that's kind of what I mess around with.
What would you say there's something more distinct about the West Coast lettering than the East Coast?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the West Coast lettering, I think, has a lot more flavor. It's more fluid, and just the color. Maybe because LA has such a Hispanic, mix, or I don't know what, but maybe because there's so many murals in Los Angeles just over the decades that we're really keen to like the color.
What kind of took it that way for you, man, to make it more of like that lifestyle, rather than just kind of that fad?
I think it was the people I hung out with, because like my crew, we were really tight, and so I was hanging out with my homies, and we went through a lot of stuff together, and it kind of like solidified us as friends and as a family basically. So our crew was who we were, and it's like I think that identity, if you got out of graph, you're gonna get out of that family.
How did like you get to develop it next, from the buses, from the billboards, from the walls that you would hit in your neighborhood,
right,
to making it more of a profession?
Right. Well, after I graduated high school, I went to Loyola Marymount University, and I got a degree in fine art. And I learned a lot in school. One of the things was my teachers weren't really down with what I was doing. I was showing them my books and my pieces, and they were like, first learn the rules before you try to break them. So during the day I was doing their little still lifes, and at night I was bombing, and on the weekends I was painting. And at the end, all the paths finally, met, crossed, and one of the professors told me, this is what you got to be doing. He saw my work, and he's like, you got to be pushing this, because this is what's unique about what you do. But it was a lot of like, let me paint your walls and get some exposure, like put my name on there, and you can contact me. Let me do your logo for your album cover, so I can get my name out there. So it was kind of like that at the beginning, and then finally I started working. I just happened to land some gigs with Coca-Cola, and then that led to stuff with MTV, and then it kind of snowballed. I started working with, like I said, with all these big companies, And now it's transformed all the way now where I have Man One Design, which is basically I work specifically with brands, developing content, developing design, and also doing events with major corporations around the world.
Right. What did you do for MTV?
I've done a lot of stuff for MTV. I've done everything from painting at their sports and music festival in Austin, Texas. I went on a 30-city tour with Black Eyed Peas and Wyclef and De La Soul, doing live painting like at all these colleges during the campus invasion tour. I've done like screen credits for their TV shows. I've done backdrops. So and I recently did Paint My Ride, where I painted a whole car for one of their episodes. The first spray can car done on MTV. It's part of being on the street. It's like you're out there and you're putting yourself in harm's way. For the love of your art form, and that's what makes graffiti different from any other kind of painting or art movement there is, because other artists sit in their studio and paint, but you're out there on the street and it's the middle of the night or whatever, and there's elements out there that you got to be aware of. There's you can get shot, you can get killed, you can get beat up, you can get arrested. All kinds of stuff could happen to you, and you're still taking that risk, and you're still pushing your art, under all those extreme situations, and that's kind of what gives you that edge over all these other artists. You know what I'm saying? So back in the day, my parents weren't really receptive to it at all, and now, it's like all flipped. Now they're like my biggest supporters. Now they're like promoting me, passing out flyers and business cards to people and stuff. So it's a whole new thing now, but it took just like with my parents, I think it's also the same with just the general public. There's a lot of education that needs to happen to transform the way people think about this movement.
And where's the farthest you've gotten to with your cane?
Well, I've been to Japan, and I've been all over Europe, Mexico. Japan was crazy because they hired a design school hired me to go teach graffiti to like 60 design students in Osaka, Japan, which was really interesting because it was like, wow, like at the time, I wasn't doing anything on that level here, and yet they were willing to fly me, literally all the way around the world just to go teach them graffiti.
I saw the work you did also. You did NBA Street,
right?
Was it?
Yeah, I've done a few things for EA Sports. The first one was I did for NBA Street. I did a big mural here in downtown that they used as the cover shot for different magazines, like the Electronic Arts magazines or whatever. So yeah, it was basically for a print ad. So I did that. I also did some stuff for them regarding the Need for Speed video game. We painted like cars and stuff on campus, like with aerosol at these live events. I'm hoping that in the future, you don't just have to learn it the hard way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because to be honest, like if I was 16 years old right now and I knew this was a felony and I knew I was gonna get shot and I knew all this stuff, I don't know if I'd do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? But then if I didn't do it, I would lose this whole aspect of my expression.
What's next, man, for you in the next couple of years? What would you like to see yourself doing with the gallery, your art?
Well, I mean, what I'd like to be, really moving the gallery towards an international tip. I have a lot of friends all over the world, and we're planning some shows between like LA and Tokyo, LA and Paris. Maybe down the line, like next year, next couple of years. So I'd like to expand, what we're doing here on an international tip.
I'm a fan of your work, and it's been a pleasure getting to talk to you and meet you.
Right.
Because it's like you've done that probably more so than you've seen already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? From what you've done and where you've been and how you've taken graffiti, the art, the culture of it, and made it and got it to mainstream America.
Right.
Already, man. I'm looking forward to see what you do in the next couple of them.
Absolutely, man.
No doubt, man. And you'll see me here at the spot, bro. I'll come through a little more often now.
Cool, man. I hope you bring all your peeps, let them know we're here.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thank you, dude. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely, man.